percentage completed has automatically been calculated to 22. The total time is 45, though the final estimated effort provided by Tom earlier is still showing 40. So this information is really very helpful from the other user's perspective, also from the developer, that whether the time she or he is taking in implementing a user story is going hayward or really is on track. So at this point, she can also get into a Scrum and provide what are the challenges that she is facing in implementing this user story and why the amount of time she is taking more in implementing or in coding this user story. So she can get into the Scrum meeting and hear the details of it. In this particular section is a relation section that it's linked to the product backlog, where she can provide what are the backlogs that she has implemented in the earlier sessions. So she can click on this relate existing and can link the user stories that he has implemented in the last few days. So let's say she selects these user stories that she has implemented, and also she can link the particular user story that she is currently working on. So from this relation section, she links the user story export contacts to Excel, the one she is currently working on. So she can say last 5, locate the user story and link it to this Scrum. Also, she can provide some information about the impediments and the backlogs that she is facing with this user story. So she can also go ahead and enters the impediments that she is facing regarding the backlogs. So I'm now going back into the task page once again, and with this, again going back, let's say she comes back to her task again in the next 2 days, and she says now she has already worked for, let's say, 25 hours. She has already worked for 25 hours and still feels that she would another take 10 hours to implement this job. So here you can find that the percentage complete would increase to a certain extent. It's 71%. So she is already 5 hours ahead, 5 hours more that she has taken. And now let's say she finally says that she has taken 47 hours, this is the actual time spent, and the estimated time complete is now 0. So she has completed a job and now the job is done. With this information, she saves her part, and this shows that the percentage complete is 100% and currently the estimated time to complete is 0, though it was estimated to be 40 hours. So with this, you can complete the task. And here, if I now go back to the user story from Tom Masters, from Mark Analyst, and here if I now look into the user story view with the recent backlogs, so here you can see that you can also have this kind of a bar chart which shows that what's the actual time spent on this user story and the percentage complete. And in terms of a colored bar, you can track this information of other backlogs also. In this case, you can find that its actual time spent is 12 hours and still 48 hours to go. So this kind of colored bar fields are also very important if you want to display the time in various formats. So now at this stage, let me log out and log in as Scrum Master. And as a Scrum Master, if I would like to say that if I want to view that what are the different artifacts that were being included in implementing this user story. So at a very high level, from the traceability view, Kovair allows you to view all the artifacts that has been managed in this entity items in a hierarchical view. So you can very well remember that we started with a project and then we got into the releases. Under the releases, we have the related sprints. The December sprint is already over. Under the January sprint, we are currently working on, and here is the user story that we submitted today. Finally, drilling down from this user story, we get to the features that we link this user story to, and this feature is linked to the epic on the other hand. So this kind of traceability, nested traceability view gives you the sense. I'm sorry. This kind of a nested traceability view gives you the sense of tracking the different entity items, either moving forward or backward. Now, I would not go into the process of this backlogs any further, which is currently now stays with George to test. So now I would move on to the dashboards to show you the different areas that has been that the different information that you can track from the various reports. So all the Kovair allows you to create different kinds of reports and graphical, textual and graphical reports. All can be included in a user's dashboard, and also some quick links to navigate to the specific parts of the application. Here you can see that the different releases that are currently getting worked on and what's the total amount of time, the estimated time to complete such releases. Also, you can have a more detailed level look that what's the amount of time that's being taken at the user story level. So here you can see that this user story which we submitted is completed with the information that we have provided. So here, apart from the textual part, you can also have some burndown charts that shows you how the project is, how a particular sprint is getting worked on, and what's the amount of time left based on a particular date, tracking on a per day basis. So you can have this kind of rich burndown charts configured from the applications, tracking the different work estimated hours to complete. Also at a very higher level, you can track the burndown charts at the project levels also, where you can have multi-level projects burndowns tracked into one single graph. You can also have this Gantt charts where you can see the progress of the task by the different users, how much time left by each of the users to complete their task. So another aspect which could be very useful from the task management perspective of the Agile solution. Also, you can have this kind of a graphical reports where you can see the distribution of the priorities, distribution of the criticality of the product backlogs of the different user stories on the priority. But these are not, none of the reports in Kovair dashboards are static, but you can click on any of these sectors to find which are the records that are getting that are satisfying this particular bar, and you can further drill down from this record to its details. So all real-time graphical reports are available on the dashboard. You can also have this kind of pie chart distributions showing different statuses of the backlogs at real time. And also you can also have textual reports of the different tasks by the different users that they are currently having pending on. Now these are the different kinds of reports. Also you can have multi-level pie chart distributions and all that you can embed into the dashboard. The only report that you cannot include in a dashboard is a word report, which is very powerful in Kovair in terms of that you can lend it to the developers and testers. Let's say you have such a release document that you have your project managers are creating on a weekly or on a monthly basis, where all the information related to a release, including the sprints, the user stories, the amount of time spent, the estimated time, all information are being tracked over there. So you can have such a report generated on the fly from the Kovair application. So Kovair has a word add-in that allows you to track the templates and include all the information within that template in the document. And once you upload that document, it would extract the contents of Kovair and would place it by the specified format of Word document. So here you can see it's a real-time table of contents generated on the fly. So here you can see this is the user story we inserted under this user, under the spread, and you can very well see it over here. Here you can see all the details applied with specific formats, with all the information being provided. So let me locate the user story we entered. So here is the user story we entered. You can find that what's the total amount of time estimated, the total final estimation, then the total amount of time taken by Christiana to implement this. You can also view the estimations provided by Paul and Thomas for the planning poker. So a lot of effort required in implementing this kind of user story, in implementing this kind of a Word document is relieved by Kovair. Relieves you from creating such a document on the fly. So apart from that, you can also have multiple distributions, multi-level distributions of different reports, like a distribution of status over a priority. So various kinds of reports can really be created in Kovair. Due to the shortage of time, I couldn't go through all the different kinds of reports, but honestly speaking, yes, Kovair allows you to have real good visibility into the projects that you are tracking inside the application. So with this note, I complete my presentation, the product presentation, and I am open now for the different questions that you have that myself and Richard will be happy to answer. So,
okay. So I've got, so Shominal, I've got a couple of questions over here. Do you have any questions? Would you like to start by reading your questions first, or shall I start with mine?
Yeah, you can go ahead with the questions that you're having.
Okay. So first of all, someone's asked me over here, can we integrate traditional approaches alongside Agile? So that's a very good question. Now remember remember Kovair is an ALM. It's an application lifecycle management system. What you are seeing over here is a workspace that we have created within that ALM specifically for Agile. And that workspace is completely customizable and configurable. So we can add to it, we can take away from it, or you can just use ours right out of the box, which is a very traditional Agile approach, and implement immediately to get that power of the distributed Agile environment. However, having said all of that, because it's an ALM, you can also implement the more traditional SDLC. So, for example, if you decide that your testing process is much more along a more traditional iterative approach that you would normally experience in an SDLC, you can. And so that's in fact